What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another Behind the Build with Revent Builds. A lot went down this week. I am so happy that at the $1 Million Pool, we're finally done backfilling behind those retaining walls. Over at Boat Dock Alpha, we are making tons of progress. We're on to full weld out. You're gonna see the guys welding on some angled supports. We call those kickers. Over at the Zenden, our roofers are on site. They're putting down the synthetic underlayment, the ice and water shield. And then at the end of this video, I told you guys I love interacting with y'all. You guys had a few questions on our community page, and I wanted to get those answered. The $1 Million Pool, everyone's favorite project. We have just been doing some tedious work over almost the last month, and it's very, very important work. If you think about it, we are just building two massive basements. These are 10 feet below grade. So if water was coming through those spaces after it's finished, there's literally very few things that can be worse than that. We are finishing up this backfill. I mean, what a monumental backfill. Over 100 dump trucks. When you look at this thing, the craziest part about it is when it's all covered up, it looks like we weren't even there. It just looks like the natural ground. Only after seeing all these videos and all the work that goes into it do you really understand the trials and tribulations that we had to go through. Here around the supercar garage, we're getting to the very tip-top portion of it and wrapping the last layers of waterproofing. Again, I think it's just hilarious. You see the guys standing here and that wall is about 4 or 5 feet tall. We know that it's over 10 feet tall, and then go all the way down to the footing. That's like almost 15 feet. This has been over a year of excavation, site work, and foundations. And in the next few weeks, we are going to be doing our final pour. This has been maybe approaching 15 different stages of pouring concrete. Absolutely insane for a residential site, but we are at the very end of the foundation tunnel. Can you imagine when we're finishing this baby out, we're putting our stone, our tile, our wood cladding, we have tray ceilings, LED lighting, the whole thing's a smart home. It is gonna be awesome to watch it unfold, and we cannot wait to get in the next phase. Over at Boat Dock Alpha, the tack welds are up, everything's in place. Now we need to do a full weld out. Think about every single connection point where any beams meet each other, that whole space, anywhere that they connect, they're gonna have to fully weld that out. It's a very tedious process, but it's also very important. Once these welds are in, that structure is staying there forever. We are welding on our kickers, and all a kicker is basically a side support. It's like an angled support. Triangles in construction are very, very strong. You see them on a lot of bridges, skyscrapers, things of that nature. It helps with a lot of lateral bracing. So we're going from the beams down to our columns in various angles, and it's just keeping everything from moving side to side, and it stiffens everything up.
What's up, y'all? Project Manager Grant here, and I've been tasked with telling y'all about ENDS energy pouches. It's upside down. If you've been watching us for a while, you know that we love these things. I like to use them when I'm cranking out submittals or reviewing documents, trying to keep everyone in line and make sure that everyone knows what's going on. These things keep me dialed. I love them in the afternoon when I hit that little slump. The energy pouches are packed with 50 milligrams of caffeine to keep you dialed in. If caffeine's not your thing, I would go with the Focus Blend, packed with nootropics to help you think, create, and perform at your best. So head on over to endspouches.com and use code JGB at checkout for 15% off your next order.
The Zenden, it's time to dry in. We are drying in with a product called High Temp Ice and Water Shield. We are using a product specifically called Polyglass. It's an amazing product, but it is very tricky to put on in the right way. Obviously, Comanche Roofing and Cody, these guys are experts. They do this day in and day out. This is another precaution. So normally with a metal roof or just most roofs, you're gonna put down like a black felt underlayment. When you have a high sloping roof, the water will shed fast and you're not as worried. But here with a low sloping roof, the water is gonna sit in some of those valleys and it's gonna trickle out of there, and it will actually get underneath the metal. So once it gets underneath, we get it, it's gonna hit that high temp ice and water, and it's gonna roll off. Let's hear Cody talk a little bit more detail about this process.
All right, so today what we're doing is we're installing the tapered ISO boards in order to slope the entire roof into these drain holes that we have. Basically, if you kind of look at an overview, you can see that we've got high points and we've got low points. We've got a low point over here at the drain, and we've got a high point right here on what we would consider to be like an actual ridge. So the water doesn't have an opportunity to puddle up or have a spot where it's just holding water. The main thing that we're doing and the goal that we have as roofers is to get the water off the roof in one way or another. The way that we're getting the water off the roof in this case is we're going to be putting in these drains. Now let me show you what makes us a little bit different with some of the drains that we have. These are very special drains that we bring in. They're made in California. They are all made out of what's called TPO coated metal. The material that we're going to put on top of this tapered insulation is called TPO. And we're going to fully adhere the TPO with glue so it's a really strong product. And then we're going to glue and weld the TPO to this piece of metal, which is the drain. On the underside of it, we've got a hub where they can actually connect a 3-inch PVC to run on an outlet to get this water moving through the truss system and then out of the house, away from the actual top of the roof over here. They're going to be putting a deck on top of this. So this is an overflow, and then this is the actual drain. The overflow is going to work as a backup in case something blocks this drain while it's underneath the deck. So that way they don't have to constantly be servicing this roof while it's underneath wood. Polyiso is a really, really good product, and it's a rigid insulation board. It gives the home better insulation from the top. They're going to be spray foaming on the inside of the house already, but this gives an extra R value on top of the roof as well, with the added benefit of us being able to slope everything and slope the water the way that we want it to go. We're going to put a cover board on top of this, but as far as actual R value, this gives you the best R value per square inch of most materials that you have out there that you would put underneath TPO. Our main point that we're trying to keep is the threshold of this door. We want to make sure that we have enough space there by keeping the ISO down and having not necessarily a low point, but the high point has to not exceed over the door threshold to make sure we have enough space. So if that's our high point, that means we need to put a drain right here, 8 feet away from there, so that the water can flow into the drain. And then we have to have other drains, one in the middle and then one over there, to compensate for where the high point of the taper system is going to end. Now I'm over here on the area that we're going to be putting the standing seam metal on, which is the majority of the house. What we did first is we put down what's called an ice and water membrane. And what's cool about this stuff is it has a butyl backed sticky part where we pull this release film, and then this sticks to the actual decking of the house and provides a secondary waterproofing layer that goes underneath the metal. This is high temperature rated. And the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to take synthetic felt, which is just larger sections of felt, put it on top of all this so that we can make sure that we have the right UV exposure rating for the roof. This roof is probably going to be not roofed for a little bit. They're going to be installing the stucco, the siding, the windows, a lot of other stuff. And we want to keep this roof really nice while we're waiting for them to do all that stuff. There's going to be a bunch of other trades that are up there walking around, stepping on everything. So we don't want to put the panels on yet, because if we put the panels on, other trades are going to drop stucco on them. The window guys are going to slip on the panels. There's just a lot that can happen. So we're going to take that synthetic felt, put it down, protect the actual ice and water dry-in. And then when it comes time to install the roof, we've already got a receiver flashing up, which is this piece of metal that we have installed all the way around the perimeter of everything. Now, that receiver metal allows us to have a pocket where we can hook our new metal as we install it, what's called the sidewall flashing, up underneath, and then we have a staggered system. And so this allows those siding guys to come in and they can put on their stucco all the way down, and they know where to stop now. and it's not going to mess anything up. They're going to have a beautiful 2-inch band that goes all the way at the end, and then it's just going to be standing seam panels all the way across.
All right, gang, on to some Q&A. I love this stuff, and I want to get your questions answered. Thank you so much for being active. I hope this is productive.
All right, so from Yo7844, any tips for starting your first Airbnb? Things that you wish you knew?
Well, man, do not use one of those management companies. They will take about 20 to 25% off the top. If you're a new starting out Airbnb, that might be all the profit that you have. You can manage this yourself. I have 2 pretty large Airbnbs and I manage both of them myself. Obviously, I'm delegating a lot of the tasks when like maintenance comes up. I have some boots on the ground people for other things and I have cleaners, but it's not that hard to manage. There's a lot of automations out there. There's even apps that help you automate it. Airbnb is the more beds that you can fit in a home, the more profitable you will be, because you're thinking about if you're charging, $1,500 a night and you have 20 people, divide 1,500 by 20, right? It's way more easy to stomach that than if you have like 2 or 3 beds. So for me, catering to like the bachelor party, bachelorette parties, hey, I actually want to link this video right here. This is a walkthrough of one of my Airbnbs, and I go over some of the small upgrades. It's mostly cosmetic stuff that we do, but it completely changes the vibe of the house, and I talk about a lot of these ins and outs.
All right, from Steve Got It Pool. How can we get in touch, bud?
Steve, you are the freaking man. I love your comments, your enthusiasm. You are awesome. Follow me on Instagram, JohnGIOF_builds. Just shoot me a DM and let's get the specifics, bro. Come on out here. I'll give you a freaking tour of some of our jobs. Let's talk YouTube, all the things, man. Thank you so much. Hopefully see you soon.
Maxwell Ruckers 7186 says, where or how do you get most of your projects?
Man, honestly, it's from all different types of sources. So for a long time, I was heavily investing in SEO. We were paying anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 a month to rank higher on Google. We did that for a number of years. And what that did was build a big authority for like people searching a ton of different renovations. I tried to do SEO to capture the big fish, the plus 1 million, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let me tell you something. Once you get over $1 million, the leads are nearly non-existent for SEO. And what determination I came up with is when someone's doing a multi-million-dollar home, they're not simply searching you on Google. Now, if you are an established brand, there's a few companies in Austin like Arrowhead, Schoberg. These types of guys, they're like the Bentley of construction in Austin. So people are finding them that way. They've become an established authority, but this is like a chicken before the egg. You have to do the multi-million-dollar projects to get more of the multi-million-dollar projects. And I know that's kind of an oxymoron, but if you think about it, if you're competing with the big dogs, and we do on a lot of our projects, we have to win out some way. And how we do that is a very personal process. I still work all of the incoming leads. I am still the one selling all of our jobs. So the people meet me and they feel this concierge service. They feel pampered. And we are giving them top tier service. Having these videos, doing all of this content, we've caught some incredible clients and investors. Do not overlook the referrals. And referrals is something that literally takes years to cultivate. But once it's there, all of these wealthy, awesome people, they have all of the same friends in their network, and you start growing, right? Then you couple that with like, we own our office building on South Lamar, which is like, a really popular road. So there's hundreds of thousands of cars coming by just daily. They see our signs. Then they're seeing us on Instagram. Then they see us on YouTube. Then they're getting a Google ad. Then they hear about us from a friend, right? And it's just like, we're all over. So I think you have to just build this brand over years, and you're kind of trying to create this huge wave, and you don't see any of that return for such a long time, and it finally starts crashing, and then you know that all your hard work is paying off.
Next, from Nick G, 1982. Been watching for months now from Scotland. My question, how do you fund, bankroll all these large projects at once, and is cash flow tight?
Nick G from Scotland! Man, I freaking love Scottish people, man. Thank you so much. It's so awesome to see all the people all over the world that follow the channel. Let me first say that not having enough projects is hard. Having too many projects is also hard. For a lot of these spec projects, we have a big whale investor. So this is a very wealthy person that is great because you don't want someone like giving their whole life savings and like biting their nails the whole time. You want busy people that are uber successful and they trust you. So what we do is we partner with them. We run the whole project, we manage everything, and we build everything. The investor puts up all of the money. We give the investor a preferred rate of return. So when their money's sitting there on the project, they need to be making at least what they would make. Like, so we give them at a bank, we give them about 8% interest over the course that their money is in on that project. And then we have fees, obviously. We have project management fees. We have all of these different fees in our project for construction. Once that's all done and we sell the home, we split the profits 50-50. On some of these other really large projects that we call custom homes, that is simply a client just paying us to do these projects. So now all we're having to do is more of the job costing budgeting. We're not worried about more global economics, like how much are we putting into this home and how much will it sell for. So it's really nice to have those custom homes that is just all you have to think about is doing a good job for the client. On the spec homes, you have to sell a product and make a profit.
All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.